So these 6 people I've put down as the most courageous people that I have ever met. I've got my wife in the top left-hand corner. She had cancer when a few years ago, and she's still fighting it, and she's just taking every day. So she is just loving life and having a great time, and she's going to be fine. But when she did get sick, I was the one who started seizing up with stress and stuff like that. She was looking after me, which was quite amazing. We have Marianne, who I have worked with for 15 years. Oh my God, she was my first copywriter. And then for a little bit there, she went over to New Zealand, and then we kind of missed each other, so I got her back, which was really, really good. But yeah, we have had this amazing run together, the 2 of us. Anthony Herity, I'll touch on him a bit later. Ralphie Barnett, who we're just kindred spirits. It's just one of those things. He's an art director as well, passionate about friggin' everything. Vanessa and Simon Lockyer. Vanessa, oh my God, she is just, she's been an inspiration to me because she has really had to take on the business world from a female's point of view, and she kept getting slapped down every time, but kept fighting, and it was just amazing to see her. And Simon, oh my God, Simon was a managing director at McCann's when I was working with him, quit his job to start Young Care. He had no income, he had nothing, he was shitting himself, and started Young Care because he had a friend who was quite ill and was then put into aged care. So it was amazing the courage that he has. So, but I'll just touch on a few of these. So that's my family. I kind of grew up down in Logan. Interesting place to grow up. So that's me there. I've got my 2 brothers either side. That's my cousin there. Yeah, so I was just sort of humbled. I went to high school, didn't do so well. I did okay. I got enough just to get into university. Didn't know what I wanted to do, but just sort of got in there. That's my dad. Dad and I have had a really kind of hot and cold relationship, but he has been very inspirational to me. And what I wanted to do when I was young is become a professional sailor. That's the boat that I used to sail. So I was kind of bad at it, but I loved it. And I was always kind of last to second last, but I still gave it a good go. And I was going to become a professional sailor. I was a boat builder. I was going into that field. But then, because I was coming last and Dad was a little bit annoyed, he said this thing to me. He said, someone has to win the start, it might as well be you. And winning the start in a race meant you were set up and you could win the race from that point. And it was really, really important. But it was those words that he said to me that really stuck. Now, I asked him that question. I said, why did you say that to me? And he goes, I can't remember even saying it to you. So, but he did say something else. After I did start winning the start and start to do quite well, he then said this to me. Someone has to win the Nationals, might as well be you. And again, he actually doesn't remember saying that. And I don't know how, but I did. It was one of those weird things. I was not ranked that high. I just went down there just to have some fun, and then next thing you know, I won. And it was one of those kind of, I don't know, it was an epiphany moment, which was something that my dad said. And I think it's down to actually us being Queenslanders as well, or even Australians. When you have, like, say, Shia LaBeouf say, fucking do it, like this, you just go, really, come on. Whereas if you go in sort of like a humble sort of way, which is, someone has to do it, might as well be you. So, and that applies to everything. So that kind of stuck with me. So I did get into professional sailing after that, and that is literally me crashing into another boat. The funny thing is, the guy that I crashed into, this is him swimming away. So, and my best mate is actually on that boat. So that was an Olympic selection regatta, and we did quite well. I was in a protest against myself, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, sailing kind of stopped when my wife fell pregnant because there's no money in it. So I then sort of started working at McCann Erickson. I was in the studio, still sailing. I was doing everything the studio does. I was doing a lot of graphic design, a lot of animation, doing a lot of websites, stuff like that. And then I went to Anthony because I was helping out the sailing club to do something for their website. And I said, oh, can I borrow a camera? Just the agency camera. And then he said this to me. When asking for something, always be prepared for a no. I'm going, it's just a fucking camera. But he's going, well, yeah, I know that, but the point is, always come prepared for a meeting with anybody expecting a no. And if you come in expecting a no, then you can kind of work around the no. Okay, so is it no? Well, yeah, but just next time. Okay, fine. The other thing that he said, which stuck with me, is, and this one's something that everybody has said, but he was the first ever to say it to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. It was just a comment that he said when I was trying to get, because I was trying to get out of the studio. You look at the creative department, you go, oh my God, these guys are amazing. In the creative department, we had, in McCann Erickson, it was Nancy Hartley and James Birchall and Andrew Geppert, all these guys who were absolute legends, and you go, I want to be one of them. And so I tried to get in there, and he would say no. He'd say, no, just get back into the studio. We're making too much money out of you. So, which was kind of interesting. But he always said, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So easy to get into the creative department. And I thought, okay, so all right, I'll try. So then I had a crack at award school. Now, it took me a couple of goes. And when I did finally get in, I was shit. Like halfway through, a lot of people know this story, halfway through, I was told by a senior creative to stop it, you're embarrassing yourself. I'm not kidding you. Because I just didn't get it. I wanted to get it, but these people were just getting it. Like from the first brief, they would do amazing ads, and I'd just do like 100 ads, and they were all bad. And so it's just a process of elimination. And then all of a sudden, someone had to win award school. Might as well be you. So I thought, okay, and then really gave it a crack. And it was probably about 5 nights before we handed in our book, and I just threw everything out and started again. And eventually it was announced that I did win award school. Now, an interesting thing too, at that night I was told by another senior creative, this will be the highlight of your career. This is it. This is the pinnacle because you're in Brisbane. This is as good as you're going to get. Enjoy it now because you're on kind of a national stage now. So, but you'll go back into that humble kind of Brisbane beginnings. I went, oh, okay, great, awesome. So, interesting thing too, when I went back to McCann's, I'm going, I've got award school, and they said, great, back in studio. And it wasn't until this really fun moment when the managing director and the creative director both left at the same time. And they were kind of reshuffling or something. But what happened was there was another art director there who wanted to go down to Sydney. His name's Andrew Lefley. He's actually at GPYR now. He went down to Sydney, and there was a copywriter who was just kind of sitting there. And it was just a bit of a weird situation where these people just kind of all left at the same time. So I thought, hey, I could just grab my computer from the studio and then put it in the creative department and not say anything and see if I can get away with it. And I did. For 12 months, I got away with it. Like the new creative director came in, he's kind of going, great, here's my team. And Nancy and James and all the other guys were pissing themselves. They're thinking, this is hilarious. Let's see how long he can get away with that. And it wasn't until the new managing director went to get the phone list changed, going, why does Cristian keep saying studio on the phone list? He's an art director, he's in the creative department. And they go, no, he's actually in studio, he's just moved in there, he hasn't told you yet. So, and at that time I was on about, there was like about 80 grand, which was awesome for studio. And then they went, okay, you're an art director now, junior art director start at 40. Oh, okay, I've got a newborn, a mortgage, my wife's not working anymore, and I'm back down to 40 grand. And I should probably tell you as well, when I got into award school, I was 32. So I was actually quite extended in my career. I was kind of starting again from a really, really low point with my wage and with my title. So it was a big decision to make, but yeah, it was one that I'll never regret because it was a launch pad for me. So now I'm up to CD, which is kind of cool. Then while I was working in the creative department with this guy, Simon Armour, he went down to Sydney, and he's amazing creative. He's over in Portland, Oregon now doing just amazing work. But James did say something to me because we were having a BADCs, I was kind of sitting there watching everybody else go up and win awards. And he's going, find a copywriter here. If you can, that would be brilliant. And Marianne was up on stage every second bloody award. And this is when she was with you, Amanda. You guys cleaned up that night and it was amazing. You're only just juniors then, which is awesome. So I stole Marianne away from Amanda because, I don't know, you guys were going off into different directions, I think. Oh no, that's right. You got fired, that's the best thing. You won all these awards and got fired and then did this amazing video to let everybody know that you got fired too, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, I teamed up with Marianne and it was great. From the first meeting, we kind of met in a coffee shop and she's kind of walking going, hi, my name's Marianne. I'm going, awesome, okay, here's a brief, let's start. And she was still working at BCM at the time. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. And then, yeah, we just started working together from there and it was amazing. And she is the most courageous person I have ever met. Like the turning point in our career was this job that we did together for Clorox, where there was no way in hell this idea was going to get up. It was, media-wise, it was impossible. But we did have someone on the inside at Queensland Newspapers who, Jerry Harris is his name. He actually, and this is kind of a bit of a fun story, he had to hand a Caxton Award to Fairfax, and because News Limited were one of our clients at the time, he came up to Marianne and I and said, make sure that never happens again, get that prick to give me an award. So when we came to him with this idea, he kind of went, yes, all right, good, he's going to give me an award, we'll make it happen. But the media guys underneath Jerry, they're going to go, no, seriously, how the hell are we going to do that? But it took probably about 6 months to get that idea going. The client was all keen for it, but it was just so hard to implement across all of the newsagents. And Marianne was the one who just didn't let it go. She kept hearing no, but she just kept pushing. And it was her that really got this up. And this piece literally got, well, more Marianne than me because I was kind of old, but we were the top 20 ranked junior team in the world from this piece, which was awesome. And it did kind of launch our career. Now I'm going to show one other piece and then I'm going to get back into talking about shit. We used to have this account Virgin Blue, and this is before it became Virgin Australia. Virgin Blue was an account that was always, this is one of those courageous points, it was always, okay, you've got about 3 hours to do an idea because it has to be back to the client by the afternoon and then it has to be sent out to production immediately. Like, that was so fast turnaround sort of concepts that we had no time to come up with any ideas. The briefs were so stupidly tight as well. They were like, it has to have pure red background. The logo has to be the size in the bottom right-hand corner. This is a billboard we were doing, by the way. We're doing flights to Tasmania. There's no picture because we don't have time to get a picture. We just have to have a big Launceston, big Hobart, and price point next to it. And they were so restricted on the size and the font and everything. And so we put this forward. Which they sort of went, yeah, look, I don't care, it's just got to happen anyway. So they ran it. And it was brilliant. And this was the first time I'd won an award at Award. It was a bronze, and they reluctantly try and give award awards to people in Brisbane, so it had to be good. But yeah, that was the thing that it was a real turning point for me, which was just, even on the shittest briefs, try and come up with something. I was always told during award school, you probably get maybe 1 or 2 briefs a year that you could probably do something amazing with. And I just totally disagreed with that. You can do amazing things with every brief. So, from this point, I got to be part of Sapien Nitro. This was my boss over in Miami. He was like a legend, apparently. And this opportunity happened, and I don't know how to call it courage, but it was more like just kind of, you're a dickhead. But what happened was, there was one morning when an email got sent to me by accident from Sapien Nitro Global saying, okay, whoever's going to Cannes, these are the job numbers that you need to put your dinners onto, or something like that. And it was from Gaston. So this was like at about 8 o'clock in the morning. I always got into work early. Marianne always got in late because she just loves the bed. And so I saw that email and went, oh, fuck this. So I replied to Gaston immediately saying, seriously, why are you sending all of these people who are account service people over to Cannes when the creatives aren't being put over there to be inspired at all? It's a festival of creativity. What the hell are you thinking? I should not have said that to my global boss. But he replied immediately with, you're right. Here's flights, accommodation, and delegates tickets. So oh, okay, great. Marianne walked in. I said, oh, just sit down. We're going off to Cannes next week. And it was awesome. It was like straight away she just jumped into a happy dance. But it was one of those things. It was just like, I don't know. It's something that I've seen quite a few Queenslanders do, where you just kind of go, oh, fuck it, why not? Give it a crack. What's the worst that could happen? You could get a no. So, and that worked out. A really cool thing about being over in Cannes as well, and I'm going to drop some names here, so I apologise. Got to meet some really, really cool people. One was Jimmy Carr. Awesome guy. These guys, like, it's weird. You think, oh, they're celebrities. They just won't speak to anybody. But they want to know your story as well. The other person that I've met was Spike Jonze, amazing director. And I didn't want to put photos of me up with him because that's kind of dickish. But Spike Jonze, all he wanted to do is want to know everybody else's story. He was kind of like the anti-American. He was more, I don't know, for me, Australian than American, because he just wanted to know your story and wanted to know how you got here and about your family and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going, no, dude, seriously, tell me about working with Christopher Walken, and tell me about sort of all that really, really cool stuff. And so, and he was quite amazing. So, but it was also interesting, and I think this is something that's unique to us as well. And it's not something that's courageous, I just think it's just us. We are able to go up and talk to whoever we want, because I don't know if it's the industry or if it's just the environment we live in, we're just friendly. It's fine. I was over in Italy because my family's over in, my wife's family's Italian. We went to the Giro and I just walked up and started speaking to some of the cyclists. And my wife's cousins were freaking out, going, no, you can't speak to those people. You go, why not? They're kind of cool. And they were great. They were having a great chat. And my son was getting photos with them and checking out their bikes and stuff like that. And it's just something it's weird, and the rest of the world, they just don't do, whereas over here, I think we have the permission to, because we're naive. It's fine. Let's have a crack. So the other thing that happened, which was super cool, and this is purely for Jacinta and the guys from Creative Mornings, I saw this guy walking towards me. I'm going, hey, that guy looks like Malcolm Gladwell. And he's an inspiration to this guy that I used to work with, Darren McCall. He was a strategist. Every single friggin' meeting, Darren would go, well, this is what Malcolm used to say, and this is what Malcolm wrote in his book, and this is what Malcolm did in his TED talk, I should say. So then I did this. Oh, it's not working. Anyway, I got him to say, I love you too, Darren McCall. He thought it was great, and that just opened up another whole conversation with him, and he's, again, the same sort of guy. He's kind of like us. He wanted to know our story. He wanted to know, oh, what do you do? Why do you do it? All that, and I suppose that's him, and that's him. He just writes about that shit anyway. So, he wanted to know everything. So that was kind of cool. And this is this is the last person that I wanted to bring up. Now, her name's Gay Chin Chin. I Googled her, and this is what came up. So she is, I don't know how she does it, but she seems to avoid every friggin' photo. Even the agency photo, she just avoided it. So it's really funny. I've tried to do little sneaky ones just with my mobile, and she's always just looking down away. So, what Gay said to me, this is when I used to start working with her at McCann's, and I've worked with her throughout my whole career, but she said this to me once: don't always listen to what people say, but figure out why they are saying it. And it's really bizarre, particularly in our industry, when you try and look at people who really, and we always bitch about them as well, they can't say yes, but they can say no. But try and figure out why they're saying no. Try and see what their problem is, and if they're, what's the thing that's keeping them up at night. And then if you can figure that out, it's amazing. They can all of a sudden say yes. So now this is where I'm going to say the C-bomb. This kind of happened at the end of last year, right on New Year's. And this was a perfect example about this. This was sent to Sarah Silverman. Just cunt. Now, 99.9% of the world would have blocked, or would have, I don't know, being a comedian, she might have said something stupid, or just said, you know, I know you are, but what am I, sort of thing. But instead, she sent this. I believe in you. I read your timeline, I see what you're doing. Your rage is thinly veiled pain. Now, what happened was she read through every single one of his tweets and then got to the bottom of he was actually sexually abused as a child. He was having drug issues. He was pretty close to suicidal. Now, and also the fact that it was New Year's Eve as well, or getting close to New Year's Eve. It was just a terrible point in this guy's life. And then she helped him. She helped him get rehab. She helped him get through it. And it was amazing from a simple point of why did he say that? Rather than just going, oh, you're an asshole. It's quite amazing. So anyway, I'm just going to finish on a couple of things that I said. Someone has to win. Someone has to be the best cake maker. Someone has to, I don't know, do amazing hair. Might as well be you. So that kind of quote, even though, and I've Googled it, I've gone crazy trying to figure out where the hell my old man came up with it, how he came up with it. He's just a friggin' genius. So use that, it works. When asking for something, always be prepared for a no. Don't always listen to what people say, but figure out why they say it. And this is the other one. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Like get up and stand in front of everybody and talk about courage. It's not easy. And also surround yourself with people who are courageous. Now, I'm blown away every day by the stories of the people that I work with. Their backgrounds are just incredible. Also, those people that have influenced my life. So, and on my final point, Jacinta's about to do award school. That is the most courageous thing ever because she is going to go through hell for about 3 months. Poor thing. But that's me. Thank you.